Hey guys, I hope you're having a great Friday. This is my Olympia review. I've taken a while to do this, partially because, well, it took me a while to just accept that I was there and I think how my performance went and just taking in the overall experience. So I just want to share with you some of the highlights and what my thoughts and feelings were around that. So first and foremost, my husband got to come, my family came, my best friend Sam came from Colorado. She flew in the day after the competition just to hang out. And then my sister-in-law, David's sister, came and hung out with us for 24 hours before the competition. So it was really cool and special to have family. I was surrounded by family, which was family and friends, which was super cool to just know that I was supported in a way that I didn't really think of. I know that Sam's kind of followed my journey on Instagram and we keep in touch. And then Holly has a really good relationship with David. So she knows what's going on. And she was just curious about bodybuilding in general. And we stood in line a lot. Like we didn't do anything that cool, but she was there to just hang out with us. So two people spent money and time literally for 24 hours to come to Vegas to see David and I. That's so cool. And then my family came as well. My sister brought her three kids. So, three kids in Vegas. She was there. Her husband had to stay at home for some work stuff. So, wow. Um, the cool thing would have been if my husband or my brother and his wife could have come, but they actually came down with COVID about a week before, so they weren't able to. And if I could wish that two more people would have been there, it would have been my coach and my friend Maria in England, because we talk all the time. We do our little podcast, is what we call it. But that would have been so cool. She would have been just as stoked to be there as literally anybody or even more. um, so really, really neat. My two favorite parts were signing, these are so silly, signing the poster in our athlete meeting, like signing the autograph. And then I have to tell you about my fairy godmother story with my bikini. Um, so first thing that was Olympia ish, besides checking into the hotel and qualifying, was the athlete meeting. So the fitness meeting was the first one. It was at 9 o'clock in the morning. And we went, I got to meet all the other girls. That was when we were issued our outfit. So we were given a tracksuit, super cute jacket, and some leggings. We got our button. We got the kind of the order of events, and just encouraged to share the live stream to kind of promote bodybuilding more, to make it more almost accessible to the rest of the public. And we got to shake everybody's hands. I met Whitney Jones. I love her energy that she always portrays, even just on her social media. It's so fun to watch. And then um, we got down to the end of the line and we signed the posters. That was really cool. And I thought they just wanted us to sign one. And she's like, oh no, this one too. So really cool. And then later in the evening, we had the athlete meet and greet. That was after I got my tan. So I think that was the same night. Yeah, I think. So I went and got my tan with Liquid Sunrays. They are my favorite. Little shout out to LSR. They are my favorite. I really like how good the tan is. It stays on nicely. And I think what I love the most is that they're so friendly. I think the tanning is probably my least favorite part of competing. Yes, I get on stage in a really small clothing, but standing there naked in front of somebody and somebody being like, okay, bend over, okay, lift up your arm. It's, um, it's really revealing. And I'm really not that confident. So I think it's like my least favorite part, but they're always just so friendly and nice. So we were standing up there, air drying, had a beautiful view of Vegas out this huge window, but we were above everybody else. Um, then I went to the athlete meet and greet. I felt so out of place. I was afraid to put on the tracksuit that they gave us because it was like tighter and I didn't want it to ruin my tan. But I saw that so many of the other athletes were wearing it even after being tanned. And I was like, oh man, like I should have worn it. I'm going to get touch ups anyway. So I felt like I was looking a little frumpy and I wasn't feeling super confident. I didn't have any makeup. And of course, like I'd been struggling with like my nutrition and my food all before that. So like my wrinklies were all wrinkly and my bags under my eyes were massive. And like flight stuff, like coming over to Vegas, like delayed flights and trying to sleep on a plane, like I looked tired. So um, that was a little bit like unfortunate. And I suppose like over time, when you get used to like traveling and prepping for competitions, I should be used to it now from like everything I did this last year, but I really haven't learned how to handle my stress properly and how to do things healthfully. So, um, the athlete meet and greet was really cool. People actually like stopped and talked to me. I got to meet one of the other tier operators with Redcon One, Sam, super nice and really pumped about gaining some muscle and just being a part of the Redcon One community. I met a couple girls who shared their experience with competing, and they didn't really have to stop and tell me that. They could have talked to all the other girls who have bigger names, and maybe they wanted to, and I was just sitting there doing whatever, and they just came up and talked to me. I really loved it. I think that kind of stuff fills me up. I hope that I always can stay approachable. I never want to look like I don't want to talk to anybody. Um, but I love hearing those stories because like it because I just do like they're just fulfilling to hear that people are working hard and they make it work no matter their situation or their age or the time limits or if they have kids. Like I love it when I hear moms that do like competing because one, like competing is like a little bit time consuming. It's challenging and very hard. It challenges your whole life in every aspect. So now let's put a kid like 1 or 5 and you're still doing it. Like props. Everyone says like queen to some people, but no, moms deserve that crown. I'm telling you. Um, I'm not a mom. I don't know. Don't know if I can do that. Um, you never know though. So, and then I didn't run into, she came to my table. One of the girls that I compete with in just some of the competitions. She does wellness and she came up and gave me a big bear hug that made me feel so welcome. My friend Victoria that I used to coach with in California, I coached gymnastics with her. Her and her husband were there. She competes in bikini. So she came up and talked to me. Um, and then Holly came in. So my sister-in-law, she swapped the VIP pass with David and came in and checked it out too. She just wanted to see what was up. And it was really cool hearing some of the other experienced women and kind of like their mindset. I was next to Sarah Kovac. She got 5th place, and her boyfriend was talking about how, I've been with Sarah for a while now and she's qualified consistently every year. And it's like every year you become a better professional and you just get better and better and better. And I really liked that. And I was like, so then I should just plan to see you next year at the Olympia. Um, that's a lofty, big goal, especially with the new stuff the new qualification system that they have on. Lofty, but not like impossible. I never want to think anything's impossible. Wow, I'm digressing. But anyways, there's no point system anymore. So I qualified on points, and you have to win. So win a competition and you can go to the Olympia. Simple. So that's that. Now, after the meet and greet, came home or went back to the hotel and started getting like all my stuff ready. Slept not great, but I never sleep well the night before a competition when I'm tan. All my other competitions this year, except for the Arnold, they did the tan the morning of, which I thought was so odd, but wasn't mad about it because I slept way better. Um, but this was the first competition that I've had to do in a really long time where I had to be ready in the morning to compete. So we had to be at the shuttle. I will at like 8, I think 8 or 8:30. I can't remember. But we had to be there early. So I got up, I did my hair, I did my makeup. Eyelashes gave me some issues, but got them on. I really loved how I did my makeup, had all my stuff. And when we got backstage, it just, I feel like everything was a little bit disorganized, to be honest. The bathrooms weren't open. I mean, the morning show was better than the night show, but it's kind of annoying that the bathrooms weren't open. um, I, um, I was putting on my suit and getting ready, and I asked one of the other ladies backstage, or she asked me, she's like, "Hey, do you need help with your suit?" And I was like, "Yes." It's kind of weird though, because like it's old and I just have to hook it and then I have to wrap the ties around. And she's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "This is a little bit challenging. Let me hand you over to CJ." And CJ is a suit maker with CJ Elite Bikinis. And she is putting on the suit and she's like, "Honey, you need a new suit. You can't wear this suit." And she's like, "I have one for you." And the other lady was like, "Is it gonna fit though?" Like, no. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I can't wear somebody else's suit. Like, no, like, no." And she goes, "You need to put this on." She puts me in this suit. It fits perfectly. It looks beautiful. And I send Kate a video and I'm like, last minute suit change. This is what happened. And I really felt like that was honestly the highlight of my Olympia experience right there. Like I felt amazing. I felt like I belonged there. I wasn't wearing this old suit. I loved how I did my makeup. I used my own hair, so I didn't use my halo. I love the halo, by the way, but it gets like in my way. It's heavy. Like I can't see my suit when I'm trying to attach it. But I really felt like I loved how I felt then. It was kind of hard to get a pump backstage because some of the other guys came in, and then suddenly we had to be on stage, and everyone was calling us up to the ramp, and then telling us to wait. And it was like we went up and down the ramp a few times, and then I set my band down. Somebody took my band, and just I don't know, like none of it was really like a big deal, but yeah, we had 45 seconds on stage. I could have gone slower in my posing, but it was great. Um, I wasn't on the outside of the last call out, but it still was the last call out. That felt really great. But like the thing is, when you are, I believe it's 15th and below, everybody gets 16th. So I got 16th. um, um, and that is okay. Not my favorite, but that is okay. Now, after we got off from our prejudge, I said hi to my parents. That was a little bit like confusing. Well, we didn't really have good cell service, so I was a little bit frustrated with like the communication. And we didn't even have a data plan or anything, so like we were relying on hoping that our phones would connect to the Venetian internet, which it didn't. At first it did, but then it must have got like bogged down by everything. So um, after that, my husband and I went and got some food. I was allowed to eat anything, but I didn't want to eat anything like too heavy or crazy because I just don't like feeling that way. And I had my favorite, a salad, um, with some chicken and something else. I can't remember. Um, but it was really good. And again, I felt like beautiful. Then we went upstairs and um, pictures were already up. And this has never happened before because I'm pretty like self critical. I tapped on my pictures and I looked at my husband and I was like, I look good. Like, I am super proud of how I look. Like, no, my shoulders aren't massive, but they've definitely made progress. I had a nice little, like, my waist, that feminine figure. Like, if you look at Kate Arrington, my coach, she has a really feminine figure, and I really like that. And I want to be able to have that too. I just need to have a little bit more shoulders. And I really loved how I looked, and the suit just like made it, of course. So that was really great. Took a nap. Then we're getting ready for the night show. So the night show, we were told to be there um, at about 4:30. So we'd have an hour to like warm up. And then at 6, they were going to open the door. So we'd have like an hour and a half, but they like make us get off stage, right? Well, I got there at 4:30 and I warmed up, but I really only got like 20 minutes. They had us get off the floor to like clean the stage or do something. And then we were able to get back on, but it was freezing backstage. So it was like, we warmed up, cooled down, warmed up, and then we were told to go backstage, and it was supposed to start at 6. Didn't start till 6:30. Um, I found that to be really frustrating. I had the expectation that this was going to be well organized, and all of the other competitions that I've been to have been a little bit of a mess. So it wasn't terrible because I'm used to it, but I was just hoping for it to be like amazing. um, my routine performance was terrible. It was terrible. It was nothing that I would have wanted to perform. The worst one that I've ever done in any of my competitions. I fell on one of the skills coming into my strength hold, and I covered it up, but for people who know, like, they know that it was a mess up. Um, I just felt sloppy. This routine was very new, so I wasn't very confident with it, but I had fun in there. I fell on the very last skill, which had happened several times in practice. But again, I just went with it and smiled and really just tried to have the best time. We all got to be called out on stage again. So I got to put on my bikini again that I was loaned. And I got to talk to some of the other girls backstage, which felt really special. I always watch some of their competitions and them talking about meeting all the other girls. And I feel like left out because some of our competitions that I've been to in Europe, they're smaller and there's not as many girls, and a lot of us speak different languages. So like the communication is kind of hard. So it was really fun to meet some of the other girls and see some familiar faces, obviously, as well. And then they called us all back on stage for the awards. And it was just fun to be back out on stage and to cheer for the girls who placed. Um, and yeah, that was the Olympia. That was the Olympia. I placed 16th. Um, I will say I don't think I was quite ready or mature enough for this experience. I qualified, I earned my spot there, but there is a huge part of me that for a long time didn't really feel like I deserved to be there. I felt really out of place. I wasn't confident. Like I said at the meet and greet, I felt like frumpy and like ugly and tired. And being at the Olympia was a huge eye opener for me. And once again, I made it to this amazing spot in something that I love to do and didn't really feel like I deserved it. And I let myself down in that way. Yet looking back on the prep, like I do the best that I can each day, but I know that my best is better. I feel like I got to the Olympia at a, and this is so unfair to all the athletes that gave like their 100%. And I gave my 100%. When I look back though at what I feel like my best could be, I feel like that was like an 80% because I struggle with a lot of things and I choose behaviors that aren't really all that healthy. And um, those behaviors inhibit like my progress, they inhibit my energy, they inhibit my mental clarity and everything. So if I can make it there struggling with all of these like mishmash of things, what can I do when I don't struggle with those? Now, I have a lot of physical work to do, I have a lot of mental work to do. Um, and a lot of like healing with my relationship with food. And if you've listened to this long, I suppose I should just like say it. Like so, and if you don't know, I feel like it's obvious, but for people who don't know that you just don't know. I have an eating disorder. It's been diagnosed. I've been hospitalized twice when I was a freshman in high school and then a senior in high school. It was the first papers that I signed as an adult. I chose to admit myself and it's just been a really long battle, and things kind of ebb and flow and I do well and then I do bad, but it's always around. It's always around, and it's a terrible, terrible thing. And I would never wish it on anybody. And if you ever have any questions, I'm always open to chatting about it. And the more that I share about it, the actually like the better that it is. So I struggled with that all throughout my Olympia prep, all throughout the Arnold, all throughout our PCS, all throughout our moving. And I primarily struggle with bulimia. And a lot of times, if I'm not struggling with that, I'm struggling with making sure that I eat enough. So to facilitate like the athletic goals. So now you know a little bit about that. So with struggling with all that and still making it to the best competition, what could I do if I don't struggle with that? So now you know a little bit about what I'm going to be working in my improvement season. And I haven't really focused on the healing process of this in a really long time because it's scary. And if you think that's stupid, you can think that, but it is scary when you don't really, when you're worried about like your body changing and those feelings. And the scary part is kind of the thoughts in your head. So yeah. um, that is what I'm going to be working on, and I want to improve. Um, Last year, I was too afraid to, so I'm going to do my best. And currently, I am going to be practicing, or currently, I am practicing intuitive eating. I'm speaking with a therapist once a week, and we are focusing on like being aware of like thoughts and the behaviors and the things that kind of like everyone hates the word trigger, but that's the word that triggers the behavior of like the eating disorder stuff. And then this week, I just got off of a session with my counselor. We're going to pay attention to the pleasant thoughts, like pleasant experiences, because our negative ones come up so easily and so just automatically. But now we want to focus on the positive ones. So, intuitive eating, um, and I really got to study a little bit more of what that actually is. I thought it was just kind of eating with like how your body feels, but there's a lot more that goes into it. So, I'm going to be kind of studying that and just paying attention more to my body and my thoughts and the feelings that are good and acknowledging the ones that are bad. Because I think when we ignore them, that's actually not good either. So that was my Olympia experience and what we're working on for improvement season. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great weekend and stay positive.